In this video, I'm going to walk you through steps 2, 3, and 4 of the Marsali's pattern. So to get to this point, I've sewn the shoulder seams and side seams of the upper bodice and have it right sides out. I've sewn the shoulder seam and the side seams of the lower bodice, and it is wrong sides out. The flounce pieces are right sides together, and immediately after I cut them, I went ahead and I clipped along those straight edges there. So I'm going to go to the machine and sew where I've clipped, and I want to mention that this curved edge is very easy to accidentally stretch it out, and if your fabric doesn't have great recovery, it might be stretched so much that you'll have a little trouble pinning it on in the next step, so just handle that with care. Now that I've sewn the flounce, this is the asymmetric flounce, so you want to make sure if you're doing the asymmetric that the long side of the flounce is going on the long side of the bodice and the short side of the flounce is going onto the shoulder seam. So first I'm going to clip together the seam of the flounce with the side seam of the upper bodice. Right here I'm just placing the whole flounce around the upper bodice, right sides together. So I'm going to go ahead and place my first clip where those two seams are and work my way down to the shoulder seam and clip the other seam of the flounce to the shoulder seam. And then I'll work my way all the way around, evenly clipping the flounce in place. And you may find that you need to very slightly stretch the bodice fabric to make the flounce fabric smooth. So you'll see here I'm just making a few adjustments and very, very gently stretching so that it's smooth. Then you'll flip it over and do it on the other side until you have it all evenly clipped in place. Okay, and once it's clipped in place, you're just going to use a long basting stitch to sew it on. And then here's how it will look. You don't have to flip it away to look at it unless you just want to. Then you need to flip it back right sides together again. And I've placed a pin on the front just in case I forget which is the front and which is the back. I have that pin to help me kind of see what I'm doing here. So since you can't see the bodice anymore, that's where it is in green, just to give you an idea. Now I'm taking my lower bodice piece with a pin in the front as well, still wrong sides out. I'm going to take the upper bodice and basically turn it upside down so the neckline is going down towards me, and that's how it looks on the inside if you could see it. I'm going to start with the shoulder seam and clip it there after I push the whole thing in down inside the lower bodice. So we've got the seam of the flounce. I'm clipping it to the side seam of the lower bodice. And then we'll move up to the shoulder seam and the seam of the flounce up at the shoulder. So you're going to basically have a sandwich with 3 layers of fabric. You'll have the lower portion of the bodice, which is wrong sides out, with the flounce in the middle, and lastly the upper portion of the bodice, which is right sides out. And just like before, you'll go around and evenly clip those all together. I'm not going to make you watch me clip the entire thing, but we're just going to work our way around, clipping it in place all the way on the front and around on the back. And again, you may need to very slightly stretch the bodice fabric to get it to all lay smoothly. Then you'll take it to the serger and sew all the way around. Here's how it looks once it's attached. That's how the upper portion looks on the inside. I'll flip it right sides out and show you how it looks. Okay, there it is. Move those pins out of the way. And now you're ready to move on to the sleeves or arm bindings, the neckband, and the hem. Hope that was helpful.